Hey guys, I just quickly wanted to post a video to show a spreadsheet that I made. It's a DM tool for Dungeons and Dragons 5e. Right now I only have encounter generator and treasure generator, but I also plan on doing an NPC generator, a town generator, a shop generator, and I wanted to be able to keep track of character stuff, what they have, what they looted as far as magic items go and gold goes, keep track of it during a campaign. So let's go ahead and get started. The reason why I made this is because there's a lot of great tools out there like Kobold Fight Club and Donjon that generates all this stuff, but I wanted more control over it, and also I wanted to see certain stuff visually that they just didn't have. So let's go ahead and get started with the encounter generator first. So let's enter in our number of players in the party. I'll enter 6 for this example. I know that's a little more than what's ideal, but you can still do it. And here you have previous experience, which is their total amount of experience, not just within that level, but total complete amount before the encounter. And it shows how far they are into that specific level here in the blue. After you enter in that stuff, it has suggested mob additions for your planned difficulty level. You can do easy, medium, hard, deadly. Um, and all this stuff follows the DMG. And I took the experience levels at easy, medium, and hard from the DMG. I took those as the median level. So halfway in between each of these areas is what is listed in the DMG. Um, After that, it shows your current queue, and then it shows what would happen with these suggested mob additions. So let's go ahead and let's say, for example, we'll add 3 monsters at a challenge rating of 1/4. And I like this because you can visually see what's going on, and I think that allows you to have a bigger mix of challenge rating monsters. Um, so after we have that, let's go ahead and filter our list of monsters here. Um, and you can do all, or you can do swamp, or any other environment you want. Um, Also, you can filter it by sources. Right now, I only have the sources that I own listed, or and you can also choose between maximum challenge rating at chosen encounter difficulty. So, any challenge ratings that would be over the hard difficulty would be excluded. You can do suggested challenge ratings only, which would be 1/2, 1/4, or 1/8. I excluded CRs of 0 just to get rid of the clutter, but it would just filter out everything that's outside of these listed. Or you could do any CR, which is basically all CRs, no matter the difficulty that you're going for. Or you can do queued CRs only, which is all the CRs that are currently listed in your encounter. And in addition to that, we have the listed monsters. Hold on, let me go ahead and refresh the table now. On the table, I have all the monsters, and I have links to their page on the D&D Beyond website, which I have purchased. Um, and then in addition to that, I have pop-ups for all the monsters that have pictures. Now, Kobold Fight Club and Donjons didn't have this, and this was important to me for monsters that I am not familiar with. If I just saw a name without a picture, I probably would just glaze my eyes right over it, and I wouldn't ever use it. This way, monsters that look cool or I might be interested in, I won't just overlook it. In addition to that, probably because the CR rating is only 1/4, you won't see it. But any of the monsters that are legendary are in bold red faced. Any unique ones are just bold italicized in black still. Um, but there's a lot of things here, and I forgot to mention that the encounter experience is shown in the orange here, and that helps me give a nice visual of how much this single encounter is going to contribute to leveling up for the party. And if you have like a couple level 2s in here, they'll appear in another column. But yeah, I think this is a very, very helpful tool to see this visually. And then after you have all this, you can do individual treasure per mob. You can do like 89 and lock it in. And if there's enough, then you have options here to substitute this gold in for gems. And then you roll which gem you want and the quantity and everything. Or you can just clear this and say roll all, and it'll lock them all in. And then if you had enough loot, then you could substitute it in for gems as well, and then it just tells you whatever's left over. Also, I have a treasure generation for quests and dungeons, and it keeps track of it in a campaign, or it will keep track of it whenever I add more stuff to it. But for now, it generates all this stuff for you. I know in the DMG it has tables beyond tables beyond tables. Like there are at least a dozen tables and subtables and stuff like that. And I was like, I just want a tool that I can roll individual items if I wanted to, that incorporates all those rules in the DMG and Xanathars if I wanted to. So let's kind of demo that. Let's pick a challenge rating of CR 5 through 10. Let's say I roll a D100. Let's say I roll 95. Okay, so I only get one magic item table, but I get 1d4 of magic items. So let's roll 3, and you have 3 spots open up here, and it's from a major magic item table. Not only that, you have here, depending on what you roll over here, you have gems or art, and then it tells you how many gems you can get. Let's see here, 13. But if you roll something like 19, it tells you you're wrong. You rolled something by mistake. And then you can roll all your individual gems. I like dice rolling, but I don't like all the table lookup, and some of the dice rolls I still simplified, but not all of them. And then coins, you roll the coins depending on what you roll here. And let's go ahead and do that. And this has error checking too. See there? It popped up, and it doesn't add it to what's down below. And then I like to, in my games, I like to hand out the treasure along the way. I don't like to do just one lump sum whenever they beat the boss or turn in a quest or something like that. I like to kind of spread it out a little bit. I might leave the major items for the end, but if they loot stuff around along the way, let's say they loot like, okay, you have this amount of coins available during this dungeon or quest. Let's say and notice they only have 800 copper pieces. Well, if you do 915, then it subtracts it from something else, and it still keeps the balance in mind. And then it keeps going whenever you enter something different. You can continually add it and keep track, and then it says whatever's left over here. And then up here, this is from Xanathars. It keeps track of major and minor magic items. let's say, for example, I roll an 18 here. Okay, that comes up with a cursed item, and it uses, as far as the value goes, it uses Sane's magic item values, and whatever's cursed is in red. And then let's roll a 12 here. Figurine of Wondrous Power. Now in the table it has it listed, but then there's also a subtable for this item, and they're not always D100s. Probably none of them are, but I just did D100 to simplify this. So let's roll 56, and I spread them out proportionally. So you end up with an Ivory Goat of Traveling. And then the final item, let's do 83. Staff of Swarming Insects, and it's green because it requires attunement, and if there's specific classes that it requires attunement from, they're listed here. Now if you notice, nothing has been done up here, nothing has been tracked up here, but if I enter a looter, let's say Chris loots this, then it now pops up here and it automatically deducts it and highlights it. Okay, well, let's say Eric loots this item. Okay, now it's -1, and it highlights it's even more noticeable now. And eventually I'm going to keep track of characters in campaign, what they looted, what they haven't. And then it'll transfer it onto this table. And then I also have trinkets here. If you want to add a trinket, then there's a generator for that. Xanathar's common magical items. I didn't include it in this overall tracking because they're not game changers. They're just basically there for flavor. So let's say I roll a 23, I want to give that. And you see it requires attunement from the Warlock class. And then if you wanted to include priceless items from Sane's list, then you check this checkmark box here. And then if you wanted to clear all this out, later I'm going to have a button to add all this stuff to the characters. You press this clear button and it says, are you sure you want to clear it? Yes, I do. So, yeah, I was seeing if people were interested in something like this. I know this has features that I was looking for on other online resources that they didn't have. Thinking about sharing this, asking for donations maybe. So if you like it, let me know. Thanks.